Hey guys, meet our guest Prasenjit. Prasenjit's a coder, he's an adventurer, and he's the founder of Out and About, India's first openly queer travel group. Prasenjit also loves cooking, he loves writing.
Well, that is until ChatGPT came into picture.
Yeah, okay. And he also loves traveling. So, Prasenjit, you've created this super safe, inclusive space called Out and About. Why did you create it and what does it mean to you today?
So it's been over a decade we started.
Wow.
2015 is when we started, just actually a decade. We didn't start it with any plan of making it like a travel group. It was very organic. I didn't have a safe space for me. I felt not safe. Even in the queer gatherings, I was trying a lot to fit in. And I felt on trail I was fitting in better. So I automatically started creating that space for me and my friends. And organically Out and About was born out of it. So it was not like a planned one.
So, what is Out and About? Tell us a little more about.
So Out and About is a travel space. It's a primarily weekend curations we have where it is for the queer community primarily and also for the allies who have the mental space to empathize and understand, hold space for others. So where we curate treks, trips, any kind of activities where your gender or your sexuality is not assumed, it's not defaulted to heterosexual.
Got it.
So when you remove that assumption, things get much easier. So we create that bubble where you can come and just be yourself. We used to call it come as you are, come out and trek.
Nice.
And then now it's Out and About, yes.
Nice. You grew up in a village in West Bengal. In your early childhood days, you were called monkey, you were called ladies, right? How did that shape your identity? How did you feel about that?
So the term monkey was very dear to me actually. It didn't bother because I was a monkey and my mom would call it and there was an adoration with it. I used to be in the trees all the time. We had a guava tree next to our house and I remember sitting there all day. So that justified the name. But when I started hitting puberty, or just before that, people started calling me ladies, and that was very strong in the neighborhood. And I didn't realize. I used to enjoy, basically, you can say like some very defining moments in your life, which is very personal, which you remember, which shapes your character. Is this memory that I had was I was walking in the market, and in my head I was walking like my cousin sisters. It was very effeminate, and I was happy about it. But then immediately there are folks who were laughing at me. And that's when, as a kid, I realized what I was feeling happy about is something that is ridiculed. I felt there is something like something really wrong in me. That's something that I have to change. That shaped my character going forward. I knew I have to change it, but I couldn't. Very small things like I'm very comfortable sitting like this. I'll not sit like that. Or my hands will move the way I talk. Everything was like a girl, and that came naturally. But I was called ladies for that, and I was very ashamed for that. And so that did define my identity. I tried everything possible to stop it, and by the time I was growing up, I was in 7th standard or 8th standard. I learned how to act straight, and then I tried to fit in, and that pattern of fitting in, so that becomes your character. And that can sit in your body in a very different way. It can come out later and you have to unlearn that throughout your life. At 40 still I'm unlearning that. So that did define me for sure. Yep. And and monkey is something I hold dear to me.
So you moved to Bangalore and you were surrounded by a very open and a very accepting community, the queer community. But you said that you still felt lonely. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how did you cope with it?
So when I moved in, it was 2007. Okay. And Bangalore had just started being open about queerness. It was not that open at that moment. At least I didn't know. And I was still having a very conforming lifestyle, a heteronormative lifestyle. I even had a girlfriend back then, just to convince everybody and myself that this is the life I'm going to take on. But Then within a year, I knew I can't do that. I would like to be full on queer and explore this life. And that's when I started going to the parties. The queer parties were the only avenues I knew where you can go and be yourself. I hadn't started going to the Pride yet. And then I went to the Pride. My first Pride was in 2011 when I went. And so those hangouts were nice, but I was lonely still because I came from a small city. I didn't speak good English. I didn't know how to be cool. And there is always this pressure to be more cool. And as I told you before, I had learned to fit in. I had learned to copy and fit in. So that continued. So even in a queer circle, I found myself doing everything to gain more currency socially, which was trying to dress better, trying to muscle up, where it can increase your sexual currency. It can increase you can be a little more cool. You can go to these places. You have to know the languages, the slangs better. So there is always this try to fit in, to be in a certain way. And that created a void. Even in the queer community, I felt like I was trying too much to fit in and I was not really belonging there. So I did feel lonely, even in Bangalore. Yeah.
You also spoke about undiagnosed ADHD. How did you cope with that? And you took therapy for it, right?
It's very recent that the ADHD got diagnosed.
Okay.
And yes, but now I'm on therapy for that in particular, which is a relief that I got diagnosis. All my life so far, it has been about me forgetting things, not being able to make it in time, doing 100 things at the same time, or forgetting schedule and all. I used to be very guilty about all that, all the time. My house is so unorganized sometimes. Like now I'm out to my parents, and mom is like, all your gay friends are so like organized. You go to their house, they're so tip to you couldn't pick up that one good thing about this. You had to be so messy in your room. So I'm probably the only kid who had lost his school uniform in the school.
What? How?
Yeah, so I ended up losing everything that is possible. Yeah, and so I lost so many things in life, like things that belongs to me, and it still happens. It's just I deal with it better at the moment. And you can think about me being a software engineer, trying to organize trips, taking people's bookings, also doing the navigation at times. So there are a lot of things going on. So it has not been easy. It has been a mess, actually.
So how are you doing it?
Right now, with therapy, I know why this is happening. That itself is giving me less anxiety. So I have less guilt about it at the moment. And when the guilt is less, it automatically, you have a headspace to think about it more strategically. So I still have all that. It's just, it doesn't affect me so much, and I can communicate it better. I can pre-plan a little better, and that helps. Yeah.
Have you also come across other people from the queer community who have probably dealt with this kind of mental health crisis?
Of trying to fit in.
And
these are the things I think everyone will have, more or less. We all try to fit in. We don't belong. But anybody from a small city coming to a big city like Bangalore or Mumbai, anywhere, it will happen. When I came to Bangalore, for me, I was very homesick first because I was missing my home a lot, and that will happen to anybody. But the queer folks whom I have come across also, this whole situation of fitting in better, trying to hide the sexuality, it starts at a very early stage, and that's very unique to the community. And when in these formative years, when we are just learning the world, and you learn that there is something that you have to hide about yourself, that can be a very bad thing for your character, like growing up overall. Yeah. So deep down, I thought I'm not good enough. I'm a little faulty. So I have to cover it up. So that kind of created a problem, and that sort of trauma also sits in your body, which I have learned now, and that can come out in many different ways. I know so many queer folks who are very, very successful in their career, but they are not having a relationship, or they have some intimacy issues. And those are all things that had started at a much childhood, like at a very early age. And Yeah, the isolation, the loneliness that I see in the queer community, I can't generalize, of course, but I have a fair amount of exposure to the community, and a large part of it are dealing with loneliness like crazy. Now, anyway, we are in a place where it's time when we are hyper connected, but
Yeah.
also we are very isolated at the same time. And for the community is even more, because especially folks who are not out to their family, even those who are out to their family, they have nothing common with their cousins or relatives. It's like a different life you take on. They have their kids and a different way it's going on, and you have your own ways. So there is a less overlap, and that creates isolation. So unless you build your social support system inside the community, you are bound to have isolation. It's very easy to get addicted to other habits. I have seen community going through a lot of addiction, which are all sort of coping mechanism. So mental health is not good at all. Let's not deny it. It's really bad in the community. I have seen a lot of people who are lost, who don't know how to come out, who are forcefully getting married, or they don't know how to stand up and say no to a marriage, and they end up getting married. So it's not great. But also thanks to the awareness and everything, it's a movement towards better world. Yeah.
So you said that out and about is about trekking and weekend getaways, etc. So how did trekking help you, and how did it help you be one with yourself again?
So I started trekking much later in my life. Like I was already 28 when I went on a first trek. Before that was the phase when I was trying to be as gay as possible in the city, which means going on every weekend parties, going to all these gatherings that happens. But then I was very tired and exhausted in all this. I was trying a lot to prove everybody that I am this cool, happening person. My social media was very flashy and nice and all that, but I was not happy about any of this. I didn't know where my life was going. Also, that was the time I started losing some of my friends. I saw a few of my very close friends who are unfortunately no more. They had started, they got addicted to something called high fun, which is you get addicted to few drugs, and you get addicted to drugs, and then you have sex in a way that can be self-destructive. And also mental health was one more issue. I saw that few of my very good friends were suddenly getting off from the surroundings. They are not alive right now, and those were very, very difficult incidences that I had to deal with. And I didn't know where I was heading. Like I was approaching 30. I knew I'm not getting married, and I was not also looking forward to having like a very conventional relationship, because it never happened for many different reasons. And I was also not in a hurry to get into a relationship just like a heteronormative marriage. It didn't resonate with me from the beginning. So I didn't know what to do. So there was a crisis. And that's when I went on my first trek, which was Kumar Parvata. And I went there without much idea. But when I started, there were a lot of leeches around me. So that was kind of scary. But I was the star immediately. Like the whole monkey thing that I had forgotten in the whole process
came
of
back.
being the cool urban boy. Suddenly I was the monkey helping everybody, and I felt home on the trail. Came very naturally. And it was on the trek that I met a girl we bonded very well, and I came out to her. Probably the first time I came out to a stranger. And I figured it's very easy to come out on a trail because the stakes are less, If they are not okay with it, you don't have to meet them again.
Exactly.
But you can take the chance. And if they are okay with it, there is a chance of
friends.
making a very good friends, which you can't do in your office space.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is great. So I was trying to come out on every trek, and it was working great. Like I was being accepted. And those who are not, I didn't meet them later. So that's how I fell in love with trek in general, and the whole nature when you're at the summit. It's very humbling as an experience when you stand in front of a waterfalls and you feel so small and insignificant, I feel that's a very, very, very humbling experience. Nothing else really matters. You're not in the main scene there. You're just there to witness the amazing, vast nature. So it's good to be there in the side plot and observe. For me, it has been very humbling experience always. Yeah. So yeah, I fell in love with trek on my first trek itself.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Prasenjit, I'd like to ask you about the label monkey. If you could go back in time and tell that little monkey boy from the village days, what would you tell him now?
That time the boy was not just monkey, he was super, super troubled with all the ladies and all those tags. So he was trying his best to convince himself that he's not what he was actually. So I would tell him to not give a shit about what others think, because it doesn't really matter. Everybody's very busy in their own life. They'll make fun of you, but they'll forget. So don't take others very seriously, and just be a little more monkey. And if you are girl, like if you walk like a girl, maybe you should accept it. And I know it's not easy because all the time people will ridicule, make fun, and but you will reach there. You will find your place in the society, and you'll also contribute in people's life in meaningful ways. So so be proud of yourself. Pat yourself a little more, and don't think that you are flawed. You are wonderful, and you're just you'll make other people's life also a little bit easier maybe. So be proud of yourself. Yeah.
Tell us a little more about Out and Out about what happens. What do you guys actually do? We can tell our audience if they're interested, then they can also join in.
So what happens is here in society, you have to come out to say that you are not straight, right?
Yeah.
At Out and About, you don't have to come out because nobody's gender and sexuality is defaulted. So people who are in the closet, many a times they take a break from the closet and come just for that weekend.
Yeah.
And it's not only for the queer community, it's for the allies also. So I always tell the allies, if you want to understand how it feels to be in the minority, maybe you should come on an Out and About trip, because it will help you empathize, because then you will know how it sometimes feels to be in the minority. And primarily we had started as a trek, but we now do lots of trips and hobby-centric activities, like we do surfing, we go slacklining, there are some cooking-centric hangout that happens. There are retreats that is centered around mental health. So we do a bunch of different things. We had done human library at Sadhana Forest at Auroville with the folks who live there. So a lot of curation that is there with the mindset to get an idea of the surroundings. Like we do a lot of tribal festivals that happens all over India, like Lepcha festival in Sikkim, or Nagaland mein Hornbill festival. We take people there in these festivals.
Very
We
nice.
live there in the different it's all budget trips. We don't do premium trips, but it's all with the mindset to get an idea of the lives around you, and also be queer in your own way. We are not doing like rainbow parade when we go, but we go there to be comfortable in your own skin and experience the surroundings. So that's all about Out and About. And yeah, it will be nice if you join sometime.
100%, we
Yeah.
will for sure. Thank you, Prasenjit, for coming in today and talking to us about the community. I think all of us have learned so much. We've got like a super deep insight into how it is to be a part of the queer community, and the challenges they face, and also about Out and About, of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
Well Tell by KTW will be streaming on YouTube, Spotify, and other platforms.